KN4NEH. This is N4BFR.
Hey, Jim,
I hear you loud and clear. You know what? I bumped into Jack a few minutes ago. Let me see if we... Some people log their contacts to preserve the memory of a special QSO. Other people use logging to capture their achievements. Things like number of grid squares or states worked. We'll tell you what to capture in your log and a great way to keep it organized coming up. Hi, I'm Jim, N4BFR, one of the instructors at Ham Radio Prep. Have you ever heard the saying, the job's not finished until the paperwork is done? Well, the same goes for most ham radio contacts. Logging is a way of documenting your contacts. So why do you want to do that? One of the ways I use my logs is to check my performance on a particular ham band. That can tell me I can easily contact England on 15 meters, but I have fewer contacts there on 40 meters. Another is for awards. If I'm looking to work 100 grid squares on VHF, I need to know where I've had success and the ones I still need. Contests need logs for their entries too. Even if you don't chase awards or play in contests, being able to confirm a contact with someone who does is helpful. It's part of the ham radio experience. Now, some will say, the FCC doesn't require a log anymore. They would be 100% correct. But we believe it's a great way to track your success over time. Let's take a look at this contact we made on 10 meter HF and see what we need to log. CQ, hello CQ, this is Alpha Alpha 1 Romeo Charlie, AA1RC, calling CQ 10 meters and standing by for a call.
Kilo November 4, November Echo Hotel.
There's a station calling us back. It was Kilo Echo, again please.
Kilo November 4, November Echo Hotel, KN4NEH.
Notice I asked him again because I didn't quite get all the call sign. Now I got it, I'll call him back. Kilo November 4, November Echo Hotel, good afternoon. This is Alpha Alpha 1 Romeo Charlie. Name here is Jim, and I'll give you a signal report on your next time by.
Hello, Jim. I got your call sign down. It was Alpha Alpha 1 Radio Charlie, I believe. Yeah, it's great making the contact with you, Jim. This is also James, or Jim on the other end, too. So great making contact with you today.
Thank you, James. Appreciate making a contact with you. I got you 5555 here in Metro Atlanta.
I have got you at 59, also here in Atlanta, so just right in your backyard. What's your QTH? You just in Metro Atlanta?
Yeah, Roger. Out here near Peachtree Corners, and good to talk to you today.
Roger. Appreciate the contact, and have a good time on the bands today.
All right, thanks, James. 73 got you in the log, and hopefully we'll get to work you again soon.
Sounds like a plan, Jim. Great chatting with you today. 73, KN4NEH.
73, Alpha Alpha 1, Romeo Charlie. There is a lot of information in that QSO. We've got call signs, names, locations, signal reports, and more. We also want to capture some information that wasn't even spoken. Think of logging as, what information do I need to know to be able to confirm this contact later if I'm asked? To have that, we want to capture the who, where, when, and what of this contact. That's the key information. So let's start with who. I confirmed his call was Kilo November 4, November Echo Hotel, right?
Kilo November 4, November Echo Hotel, KN4NEH.
Notice I asked him again because I didn't quite get all the call sign. Now I got it, I'll call him back. So let's write that down. We heard his name, so we'll keep that too.
Jim on the other end too, so great making contact with you today.
Let's do the where next. If you look on the screen, you'll see our radio is set to 28.6 megahertz, so let's write that down. We got another piece of information from James. He's in Atlanta, so we'll include that in our notes as well. Before we go too much further, we want to capture the when this contact is happening. Let's say it was August 1st at 3:15 p.m. local time. That goes into our contact log. We can convert that time to UTC as well because that's the standard that hams use. At that time of year, UTC is 4 hours ahead of where we are, so we'll put 17:15 UTC. Let's add the what now. Our what should include the mode of contact. Also, any key information we exchanged that would allow us to confirm it later. So we'll add USB for upper sideband, that's our mode, and put down the signal reports we exchanged. Did you catch those? I got you 5555 here in Metro Atlanta.
I have got you at 59, also here in Atlanta, so just right in your backyard. What's your QTH? You just in Metro Atlanta?
Let's get these down as I sent 55 and I received 59. So that's a lot of data for a conversation that took less than 2 minutes, right? Let's recap what we have. Contact with KN4NEH James. Contact where? 28.6 megahertz or 10 meters to Atlanta. When we made the contact was August 1st at 17:15 UTC. What the contact was made up of? A USB exchange of a signal report. I sent 55 and received 59. What's a good way to store and track that information? We're going to use the World Radio League logbook. So let's go to worldradioleague.com. I've already set up a free profile and I'm going to click Log Contacts and start a new log. Once I do, it comes up with a window that will let me enter the most common information captured during a contact. Let's transfer it from our contact log notes into the logbook. The first thing it asks is their call sign. We have that. It's KN4NEH, so we'll put that in. When we hit Tab, two things happen. Let's look at the screen change first. We have a call sign match, so James is also a World Radio League logbook user. It added his name, state, and information from his home logbook. The cursor also jumps to the next field, which is RST sent. That's where the exchange goes, part of our signal report in the what group. We sent KN4NEH a report of 55, so we'll add that in. He sent us 59, so we'll tab over to the next field and confirm that. Tab again, and you're in the frequency box. We'll enter this in megahertz, so 28.6 is all we need to put in. Notice when you hit Tab this time, it changes the next two boxes. The logbook knows that 28.6 megahertz is in the 10 meter band, so it automatically populated that. It also knows that part of the band is typically used for sideband communications, so it added SSB under mode. You can leave that, or use the arrow to drop down and select USB. Let's jump down to time next and add our information on time and date. We'll put 17:15 in the time field and then tab over and put August 1st in the date. Now let's click on the Their QTH area and put in Atlanta for good measure. As you can see, there are a bunch of other things we can track. That would include the power output of our radio. Handy, especially if you're tracking your QRP contacts. Another is which antenna we used. We can even add some notes, but for the basics of confirming a contact, that's really all we need. So let's hit Log Contact to save it. Now you can see that's moved down into my log. Remember how I said earlier you can track where your signal is going? Click that button that says QSO map, and we can zoom in and see where our short 10 meter contact happened. Let's try logging a VHF simplex contact, because those are fun too. Grab a Baofeng and a friend and see how far away you can get and still make contacts. You absolutely want to track that, right? Let's say I was out for the day on top of Stone Mountain near Metro Atlanta. James found a spot on one of the buildings near downtown. If we both have our handhelds, we can make a contact and log it. We want to capture the same thing as before. the who, where, when, and what of this contact. Here's what that contact list looks like. Contact with KN4NEH James. Contact where 146.52 MHz or 2 meters, Stone Mountain to Ponce City Market. When we made the contact, December 11th at 21:30 UTC. What was the contact made up of? An FM simplex contact. I sent 5.9 and I received 5.9 in return. Let's put that in the logbook so we can see how it looks. Their call sign was KN4NEH, and the RST sent and received, that's the signal report, were both 5.9, so we updated that. The frequency was 146.52 MHz, so we'll put in 146.52, and the logbook knows that it was a 2-meter FM contact once we tab, so it updated it. Power listing here might be helpful. We used a handheld on high, so that's 5 watts or so. Since we were both mobile, we want to be a little more specific about our QTH or location. I'm going to erase the default information and write Ponce City Market under their QTH. I'm going to overwrite the defaults on my contact as well since I wasn't home. I'll put Stone Mountain under QTH. My radio was a UV5R and my antenna was stock HT. Don't know the grid, so I erased it at this point. Okay, if that looks accurate, hit Log Contact and you have your simplex contact saved. I mentioned a little bit ago that one of the more important reasons for having a log is to use it for analytics. Here's a big benefit of using the World Radio League logbook. Once you have a few contacts logged, you can look under My Profile and get an idea of how you're operating. When I look at my personal band graph, I see most of my contacts have been on 10 or 20 meters. I also have QSOs by mode to tell me I'm logging all voice contacts. Finally, check out my QSO map. 4 continents in the log. That's pretty exciting right there. Let's cover a few areas where you might run into issues while logging. First, you may ask yourself, if I have name and call sign, isn't that enough for a log? Yes and no. Let's take a look at an example. Let's say I worked James, but I wrote down his call sign wrong. I just made a typo and put in KM4NEH. So when his QSL request comes in and I don't find his call, what can I do? Well, if that request shows the right exchange and time, I can find the contact in my log and I'll safely assume I made a typo. So I correct my log and confirm the contact because typos happen. Let's also talk a little bit about time. You can keep your time on your personal log in local time or UTC, also known as Coordinated Universal Time or Zulu time, if you're logging on paper. But remember, most of your contact confirmation requests and online logging is going to be in UTC, so be prepared to convert. One place that's easy to trip up are those late evening contacts. 10 p.m. Eastern Time on a Monday is actually early Tuesday morning UTC, so don't forget to increment both the time and the date when converting. One more comment on time. 1630 versus 1632 UTC are functionally the same time. They're 2 minutes apart. One online logbook says a contact that has a start time within 30 minutes of each other is a match. So don't be too strict about 2 or 3 minutes if all the other info matches. Should you log frequency or only the band used? It's better to have frequency than band, but there will be times when you're scanning up and down and didn't quite get the right frequency. Don't beat yourself up. If you have at least the band right, that is enough to confirm a contact. You won't always get a signal report as a final confirmation item. It's more likely an HF voice or CW, but if you're working digital, you might get a power level. In satellites, you'll get a grid square, and in contests, it might be a date or a serial number. In any QSO, it's good to keep track of what you get for future confirmation. Don't look at logging like a chore. It's so much fun to be able to look back at favorite contacts. With a log, it's easier to answer that "how many countries have you talked to?" question from friends, or chase grid squares, or whatever your reason. Ham radio logging is a fun way to follow up your contacts. And with the World Radio League Logger, you can easily see your stats and track your performance. If you're just getting started in ham radio, come visit us at hamradioprep.com to get your license. Then keep your logs over at worldradioleague.com. We also have a lot more on logging and handling QSLs in our HF Masterclass. It has everything you need to start making those long-distance contacts. I'm Jim, N4BFR from Ham Radio Prep. We hope to hear you on the air and get a contact in your log soon.